Theatres are often draped in rich history, and many are said to have their fair share of horror stories, hauntings, and ghostly tales. The incredibly creepy Theatre Royal Drury Lane in the West End of London is absolutely no exception. The theatre itself is said to be haunted by a myriad of different spirits and phantoms. However, one entity in particular stands out amongst the rest. Who is this ghostly figure? Well, actually, nobody knows. Although his apparel suggests that he may have been a figure of some importance. He is said to cut a dashing figure, dressed in period attire of the late 18th century, wearing a long riding cape, brandishing a sheathed sword and tricorn hat. This is the case of the infamous Ghost of Drury Lane, simply known as the Man in Grey. Theatre Royal Drury Lane, or commonly referred to as Drury Lane, is a renowned theatre in the West End of London, which many claim to be the world's most haunted theatre. Drury Lane was constructed as a site dedicated to legitimate drama, plays performed in the spoken word by Thomas Killigrew in 1663. No operas, concerts, or plays with musical numbers. Unfortunately, the original theatre burned down in 1672 and was rebuilt 2 years later. A new theatre was built on the same site in 1794. However, in a tragic turn of events, a second fire also destroyed this building in 1809. The building we see before us today was built in 1812. Drury Lane is the oldest theatre still in use in London. It should come as no surprise then that the theatre is considered by many to be haunted by the restless spirits of those who died here. Its coloured history and age gives credence to the claim that it's one of the most haunted theatres in the world, with a range of ghosts, from its most famous, Man in Grey, to an actor who stabbed one of his compatriots backstage. There are so many reported ghosts housed within the theatre's walls that there's a superstition that replaces the old idiom of break a leg. If one of these haunting spectres are witnessed before a production, this could be a predictor of good fortune for the play or the actor who witnessed the ghost. The theatre's most notorious ghost is an entity referred to as the Man in Grey. Nobody is certain of the identity of this ghost. He stalks the theatre's upper circle in 18th century garb, complete with a sword, riding cloak, and tricorn hat over powdered hair. No sooner as his ghostly apparition is spotted, he will disappear through a wall close to the royal box. Renovations in the 1870s led to the discovery of skeletal remains in a hidden room behind that very wall. The remains wore grey clothing, and a knife protruded from his ribcage. Was this the Man in Grey? This is a popular belief among many. Believers in the ghost of the Man in Grey theorise that he was brutally and mercilessly murdered in a fit of rage by an actress's jealous lover. Regardless of how the man met his grisly demise, the Man in Grey's presence is often welcomed by those who work in the theatre. His ghost has appeared before the running of several successful theatre productions including The King and I, South Pacific, Oklahoma, and Miss Saigon. Although the Man in Grey is by far the most prolific sighting, other ghosts, spirits, and phantoms reportedly lurk in Drury Lane. The ghost of Charles Macklin, an Irish actor and dramatist, silently roams the corridors backstage. He specifically haunts the spot where he murdered another actor, Thomas Hallam, in a scuffle over a wig of all things. In a fit of rage, Macklin thrust the cane into the unsuspecting Hallam's left eye, killing him instantly. Shockingly, this murder was determined an accident by the courts. The eerie sound of clog dancing can sometimes be heard from the ghost of Dan Leno, the famous music hall comedian from the Victorian era. Leno's ghostly apparition has been witnessed enjoying practicing his clogging in empty dressing rooms, the chilling sound echoing through corridors. Sometimes actors catch a whiff of lavender, a scent Leno often wore when he was alive. Although the ghostly sound of disembodied clog dancing might sound terrifying, Leno's ghost is a lively, cheerful spirit that is often welcomed. Joseph Grimaldi was a popular entertainer from the Regency era who expanded on the role of the clown. He is often considered the father of modern clowning, whose popularity, even after his death, inspired Charles Dickens to write a biography on him. Grimaldi's ghost is reportedly another friendly one. He often helps nervous actors around the stage. But this ghoul has a mischievous side. He's known for giving a kick to actors, stage managers, ushers, and other theatre staff. Bizarrely, on his death, Grimaldi made a chilling request. He asked to be buried with his head severed from his body. Strangely enough, his odd request was granted, and this might just explain why some actors and theatre-goers claim to have witnessed the terrifying visage of a clown's head floating in the theatre wings. Could you imagine seeing that face? Disembodied, just floating around. Following his death in 1868, Charles Keen's apparition has been spotted by unsuspecting actors and theatre workers sitting in the front row before a production. However, this spooky entity disappears as soon as the lights hit the stage. Charles Keene was another actor best known in his lifetime for roles in Shakespearean plays. Drury Lane boasts having a spine-chilling array of ghosts, from murderers to floating clown heads. Most of these phantoms and ghouls seem harmless, helping nervous actors while causing occasional mischief. Their presence is even welcomed by superstitious actors and staff who see these ghosts as signs of good luck. It's typically accepted that the ghosts of Drury Lane Theatre might not be something to fear, but something to welcome and embrace. What do you think? Is Drury Lane Theatre really haunted by the man in grey? Well, that's all for today. I really hope you enjoyed that episode. If you did, then please do me a huge favour by clicking on the like button and subscribing to the channel for a feast of grim and grisly content. Please also leave any thoughts on today's stories in the comments section. I always try my very best to respond to any comments. As always, thanks for watching. I'm your host, Severed Soul.